We've torn the heavy stems out of them early at the processing plants, and once we get the heavy stems out of them, then you're laying the tobacco together, and you've got your full leaf, and you're kind of folding the first leaf in half, and everything else you're doing an accordion style fold.
Yeah.
In Cuba, they do what they call like a tube roll, and the reason why there's a lot of draw issues with that is because what you're doing is you're rolling that tobacco up into a tube. So when you put it together and you flatten down on it, when you tube it, you've now just crushed all that down together, so it didn't create a channel. When you accordion style fold, it's creating loops like this, so when you roll over, it creates channels, air channels going through. That's why you don't find draw issues with us, but on a lot of the Cuban cigars, you will find a lot of draw issues because they tube roll.
Actually, I didn't know that, because I've seen them tube roll it, but I didn't know you did it different way.
Yeah, we do an accordion style fold with ours. So, and that comes, in Nicaragua, that's what they do, is accordion style. That's what they're trained to do. And in Cuba, they're trained to do, tube roll. So, now you'll notice that I'm going to actually have to start this cigar from this way this time. Because you got two halves to every leaf, so some of them you're going to start from the left, some of them you're going to start from the right. And this will cut your finger off if you're not careful. It definitely will give you a manicure.
Well, you can close the wound with a leaf.
Yeah, it'll give you a manicure in a heartbeat. A lot of rollers you'll see out there because they're constantly holding like this and they'll come across their fingers. So a lot of times you'll see them, their fingers are in a perfect line.
Really?
Because they've chopped the tips of their fingers off. Yep. A lot of rollers. You always want to, if you ever get a chance to go to a factory, you'll check the rollers to see how many fingers they do have.
Then you know how long they've been rolling.
Yeah, because usually you're not a experienced roller until you've chopped a couple fingers off.
I see you still have all your fingers, so...
I do, because I'm careful. I need all my fingers. Stretching is the biggest part. If you stretch that leaf good enough when you put it on there, you don't have to go back and kind of keep re-stretching it as you're done. That's the biggest part of rolling these cigars is you gotta stretch it nice the first time.
Yeah.
You don't, it's just going to create nothing but hassle later on.
Yeah. But not too much that it tears.
Yeah, you don't want to do too much to where it tears. And this is you got to get a lot of those little cuts off. If not, they will be visible when it's time to put the wrap, the cap on. So you roll that around just like that. One good time, and you tear. And the pectin, once the pectin dries, you don't even know it's there. It's totally gone. It doesn't leave a sheen. It doesn't do anything to it. It's totally gone.
It's interesting to see that it's another technique than the Cuban guy, because I thought Nicaragua and Honduras, so they copy the Cuban rollers.
No, they have their own techniques. It's pretty cool. Every country you go to, if you go from, we'll go from Nicaragua to Honduras and we'll check out some of the Honduras. The style in Honduras is totally different than Nicaragua, and it's only 3 hours apart from each other. It's totally different styles. In Nicaragua, you will not see females bunching. They don't bunch. It's against just against their culture. That's a man's job. It's not a female's job. So we do not have one female bunchera in the factory. It's all men. Now you will find a couple men, like I said, putting wrapper on, but not many. Not many. That's mainly a female job. But you go to Honduras and Dominican Republic and Cuba.
They're basically like animals.
Yes. I was trying to be nice.
Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Are you picking up what I'm throwing down?
In countries like Nicaragua, they are okay, man.
really. There's a couple. There are a couple, and I've seen them. But there's
Not
not
many acceptors.
not really.
So, I'll see if I like it or not. I will have a go with this one, which I have already afternoon or so.
Perfect. Thank
And if I
you.
like it, what would be the location for buying them? Will it be here?
Will be the
Voor jou in de
it'll be the
kilo?
cane it's gonna be the most likely to it. Now that's going to be a fresh cigar, so it's going to have a little bit of a different flavor and taste to it. But the cane F, if you let this cigar age, for 90 days, it's going to be very similar to the cane F.
Okay.
So this one's
Volgens mij een beetje van
90 days is that's what makes these different.
Either use it now, when it's fresh, or it has to stay for